Good evening and welcome back to another episode of the Daily O, sponsored by Firo Pizza. I'm Brody Myers. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good news for patients of Stillwater Family Care. The clinic has received 200 doses of the one-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Patients of SFC can call the office at 405-533-2433 and set up an appointment. Appointments are available Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays each week between 2 and 4 o'clock. Protests erupting overnight in the Minneapolis suburb of Brooklyn Center following a deadly police-involved shooting of an unarmed black man. This comes amid already high tensions in the area as witness testimony continues in the Derek Chauvin trial in connection with the death of George Floyd. Nadia Romero is in Minneapolis with the details.
Week of witness testimony in the Derek Chauvin trial in connection with the death of George Floyd that happened 10 months ago. And just about 10 miles from here in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, a 20-year-old black man was killed during a traffic stop at the hands of police. Now that happened to Daunte Wright on Sunday, and police say they were trying to arrest him because he had warrants out for his arrest, but then he re-entered his car and drove away. That's when police shot at him, striking Wright. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Listen to what Daunte Wright's mother had to say about the last moments she heard her son's voice and when she learned that he was dead.
He said they pulled him over because he had air fresheners hanging from the rearview mirror. A minute later I called and his girlfriend answered, which was the passenger in the car, and said that he'd been shot.
Hundreds of people took to the streets in Brooklyn Center marching towards the police department, and some of those people turned violent into looting and also jumping up and down, breaking out the windows on police cars. And now we have more of a heightened security risk here in the Minneapolis greater area. A curfew was called in by the mayor and also National Guard troops.
We saw rocks and other objects thrown at the police department. There were reports of shots fired in the area of the police department.
And this is what jurors in the Derek Chauvin trial are waking up to this morning. The front page of the local newspaper, it says fatal police shooting sparks grief, outrage, all while the Derek Chauvin trial begins again on Monday with the prosecution going over another witness testimony on the cause of death of George Floyd. From Minneapolis, I'm Nadia Romero.
Earlier today, President Biden said in the Oval Office that his prayers are with the Daunte Wright's family. Up next, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we have Arissa Baxter-Looper in the studio. For the Daily O, I'm Brody Myers.
Oh, there you go. Superstar.
The end of the practice is when we do all of our, intensity drills.
Okay.
She was going at it.
Stop. If we get them to Detroit by, let's say Monday the 15th. Right there, there we go. Yeah! Just, you can't.
Don't want to talk about it.
When you see the water tower, you're gonna make a right.
If we win this, is the one way to get to the playoffs.
I know.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily O. I'm Asa Lucas here with Ms. Arissa Baxter-Looper. And Ms. Baxter, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
Reason why we're bringing you on, last week was Pride Week here at Oklahoma State, and we want to know, how is the LGBT community? How is the representation here on campus?
Well, it is steadily rising. I'm really excited to say that you are seeing more and more of LGBTQ people here on campus, and more people taking leadership positions, talking about our community, and being proud of who we are.
And what is your roles? What are you doing here on Oklahoma State?
Yeah, so I have two roles. So I am our coordinator of women's and LGBTQ affairs, which means really I just support our gender marginalized and sexuality marginalized students on campus. And I also work as a sexual assault victim advocate. So what that means is I help run a hotline for our sexual violence survivors on campus. I also provide support, help them with accommodations or anything that they might need on campus after some trauma.
So assault victims, that is a huge crime, I guess, across America, especially on college campuses. What are things that we can do to help change that culture?
Yeah, so I'm a huge advocate of, rather than sort of saying like how we can help women protect themselves, is, like you said, how we can change the culture. I think it's about culture. So I think ways that we can talk honestly and openly with each other about what sexual violence looks like, how we see it in our world, how we see it on TV and movies and in media, as well as have frank conversations if we see something that's inappropriate or dangerous, or we see something happening in a bar, or a girl that's extremely inebriated and isn't feeling well, making sure to check in with her. How are you doing? Can we get you an Uber home? Those kinds of things that really just says we don't want to see this in our community, and we want to support each other if these kinds of things happen.
Are there programs or websites people can go to learn more information to be better trained and prepared for situations like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely recommend One Is Too Many, which is our office here on campus. I think it's oneistooMany.okstate.edu, but I could be wrong. But the 1 and the 2 are numerical rather than spelled out. And that's our sexual violence prevention resources here on campus, and they're really wonderful. But you can really just look up bystander intervention techniques, things like that, just in general on the web, to help support these kinds of situations and keep them from happening.
And what is the mission statement of the Oklahoma State Queers and Allies Association?
Yeah, so Oklahoma State Queers and Allies is really here to support, advocate, and educate the community about the LGBTQ community on campus. So they're here to make a home for LGBTQ people, but they're also here to help educate the rest of our campus on what's going on with the LGBTQ community and ways that we can all get involved in being allies.
And if people were seeking support, where can they go? What can they do?
Yeah, so I absolutely recommend people reaching out to me, reaching out to the student organization. My email is irisa.baxter@okstate.edu. So people can always reach out to me or my office at 240 Student Union. And there's a lot of other ways as well. If you are interested in getting involved with the student org specifically, they have a Discord and a whole bunch of other communication places. So I would recommend reaching out to them at bit.ly/OSQ and spelled out, so ANDA. So bit.ly/OSQANDA, and that form will get you to their Discord. It will get you links to our meetings via Zoom and all of those different ways to get in contact with us.
What kind of events did the OSQA put on this past year?
Yeah, so we did a lot of different kinds of things, just like casual gaming nights where we just kind of hang out and socialize, as well as bringing in scholars and speakers to talk about their work. One example is Dr. Rachel Schmitz on campus. She does work on LGBTQ populations and homelessness in youth. So we have her come in and talk about the work that she's doing, her research, ways that we can support it or uplift or talk about the issue of LGBTQ homelessness. So really a mixture, I would say, of like community and social events, as well as like academic, like panels and things like that.
What kind of events are you excited for next year?
Well, I'm excited to just be able to do some more drag events in person. So we didn't get to do as much this year with social distancing. So I'm really looking forward to being able to be in person and do some like performances, some things that we've been missing for this last year, having some drag performances, some student performances. We've missed that. We weren't able to have any this year. So those kinds of programs I'm really looking forward to having again.
Speaking of drag performances, you were telling me off camera that there was one this campus this year at Oklahoma State. How was that?
It went really well. We were able to do it outside this year because of social distancing, and I thought that that was really fun because it was just like we were outside the Student Union Plaza just sort of celebrating and not hiding, not being ashamed, being allowed to be LGBTQ and proud in public on campus. And I thought that was just really wonderful. And we ended up raising over $600 for the LGBTQ Scholarship Fund through that program.
And how can you apply for the scholarship? Where can people go?
Yeah, so it's equal.okstate.edu. So equal, EQUAL, is where you can find that scholarship. It's typically given out in the spring semester, or the applications are typically in the spring semester. So we've already finalized it for this spring, but you can absolutely look at it, and please do look at it for next spring, because we usually are in need of applicants, and we have plenty of money that we're happy to share.
And where are you located if people want to reach out to you on campus?
Yeah, so my office is in the Student Union. It is 240 Student Union, so on the second floor, next to Study Abroad, right there in the middle of the building.
And we were talking about Safe Space as well. What kind of program is Safe Space? What does that do for people?
Yeah, so it's actually Safe Zone, but many people call it Safe Space too. And it's really an allyship program, so a way to let our LGBTQ community on campus know who is safe. And so that's why it's called Safe Zone or Safe Space or Safe Community, because we're talking about places that feel safe for LGBTQ people. And it's a program, it is a 2.5-hour workshop that I do, though there is a shorter version that I do with students as well, that is really focused on helping people feel that they are confident and able to support the LGBTQ community. It gives you resources, it gives you the information, how to talk about particular things, terminology, what issues are relevant to the community in Oklahoma, in the United States, legislation that's constantly coming up in the state that we can support or talk against, all of that kind of information. So you can find out more about it at my office's website, which is oma.okstate.edu. But it's a really wonderful sort of program that we have here on campus to sort of figure out who is comfortable and safe to support the community.
And you've been here at Oklahoma State now for 6 years. What kind of changes have you seen for the LGBTQ community?
I have seen representation and visibility is really starting to grow on campus, and I think I'm seeing more faculty and staff comfortable with coming out in their workplace, saying, look, I am LGBTQ, I am queer, this is who I am, and I feel comfortable being out in my space. I think that is really growing, and our Safe Zone program has grown a lot in recent years, and I think these kinds of places they're gonna bring the visibility of the community up, and they're also gonna bring the visibility of our allies up, because we need to know about who they are too. Speaking
of visibility, we had Pride Week last week, and you said there was a parade. How was that in Stillwater?
Yeah, so we didn't actually do the parade this last week, but typically we had our first parade in 2019. And this is a really, really wonderful way to, again, it's about representation. It gives people the ability to celebrate who they are and let our supporters sort of support us.
And really with the LGBTQ community, would you say hate crimes or things against them, have they gone up? Have they gone down in Stillwater, Oklahoma? How's that been for students when they've come forth and told you their kind of worries and their concerns?
Yeah, so I'm not sure about how different it is in recent years, but I would say that it's definitely, we're seeing hate crimes that are less violent and more verbal. So verbal assault, verbal harassment is usually what we see, if anything, in town. And I think that the education of our community, programs like Safe Zone, which I'm also offering off campus to people, has really helped kind of shift the conversation to look at these issues, look at this happening. We have a lot of anti-transgender legislation that comes up in the state, and so I think these conversations are happening more in our communities, which are making these things less likely to happen.
And Safe Zone, that can be accessed on your website?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oma.okstate.edu.
And people just reach out to you through email or through phone?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Baxter, for coming on. We really do appreciate it. And when we come back, we'll have weather with Josh.
All right, welcome back, folks. I'm Joshua Weisel here in the Ocala Storm Studios. I tell you what, we do have some rain chances in the future forecast coming up with my 10-day forecast. I'll show you that in just a second, but we're going to be starting off with this evening and overnight. For the next couple of hours, a high of 66. We'll see mostly cloudy skies like we've seen all day for the next couple of hours, and even into the overnight hours. We'll lower our temperatures down into the lower 40s, about 44 by 7 a.m., mostly cloudy conditions as we head into tomorrow morning and even into tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to take a look at tomorrow afternoon and evening's forecast. So I'm going to show you 65 for a high tomorrow, chance for some showers and thunderstorms, about 40% in the afternoon into tomorrow night. Across the region, mostly cloudy skies otherwise for the rest of the day, high of 65. And then as we head into Wednesday, a high of 62, another chance for some showers and thunderstorms. That will be a little bit less than what we're going to see tomorrow, but that's closer to about 30% chance in the overnight hours and late afternoon. Not everyone's going to see this coverage, so just keep that in mind. A high of 62 Wednesday as well. So here's a look at that allergy index. Overall, tree pollen is still the main pollutant in our atmosphere. So if you're having any allergy issues, that's why. Also take a look at the air quality. This one actually takes into consideration a few different types of pollutants in the atmosphere, including ozone, and that is rather low, but it is close to the moderate range, so we're keeping a close eye on that. Make sure that you stick to the forecast on these segments every Monday and Friday for the latest allergy updates as well. So here's a look at that 10-day forecast that I mentioned just a second ago, and those are those rain chances that I mentioned. 40% chance tomorrow, 30 on Wednesday, and then better chances Thursday and Friday. Showers and thunderstorms are possible. At this time, it doesn't appear that any will be severe, but I'll be keeping a close eye on that. So the better chances, keep in mind, Thursday, Friday. So before you head out for class, you're going to want to make sure that you bring at least an umbrella, maybe a raincoat. High in the 60 through most of this week. I'm going to step out of the way real quick so you can see the rest of my forecast. And we're going to be looking at lows in the 40s for most of this week. And then we'll start to see temperatures coming back up into the 70s by next week. So overall, rainy week this week. We could see more pleasant conditions as we head into early next week. So keep that in mind with the next 10-day period with weather. So stick around for sports coming up right after this.
Hi everybody, my name is Emily Shuping. I'm your marketing coordinator for the Made in Oklahoma Coalition. I'm coming to you with an amazing opportunity. We are teaming up with the Ocala Media Group at Oklahoma State University. We want to tell your story on the following platforms: streaming, newspaper, and digital. This opportunity will not only allow your story to be told locally, but nationally as well. I am so excited for each of you to join in on this tremendous opportunity. This will not only be good for your business, but it will be good for our great state of Oklahoma. You can be expecting an email from me soon with more details about this opportunity. Local has a name, local has a face, local has a flavor. The Made in Oklahoma Coalition.
Hi, welcome back to the Daily O. I'm Griff McClellan. All right, sweet. I haven't really reviewed the script, but okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily O. I'm Griff McClellan, and let's get right into sports. The Oklahoma State baseball team was in action over the weekend, and after the first game was postponed on Friday night, the Cowboys got started Saturday. Our own Jace Andrews has the recap.
Falls on a 5-game win streak after sweeping the University of North Carolina Wilmington this weekend. After the cancellation of the Central Arkansas series, the Cowboys picked up a 3-game series this weekend against the Seahawks. This series, though, would not start right on time as the storm Friday night pushed that game to Saturday, where the Cowboys would have a doubleheader.
In hindsight, it could have gone either way. We made the decision to try to put the kids on a dry, safe field with better conditions, so we went with today's doubleheader.
With 2 games for the Cowboys, they wanted to get a lead early to set the tone for the rest of the day. They did just that, putting up 4 runs on the Seahawks in the first inning with a pair of bombs from Max Hewitt and Carson McCusker. The OSU offense continued to pour it on with 3 more runs in the 5th. Though UNC Wilmington had a late rally, the Cowboys came out victorious in the first game of the doubleheader, 7-6. With a lot of the older guys on the team coming up clutch, McCusker talks about the chemistry they have formed.
You know, spending so much time with each other, we've created like pretty tight bond, you know, and I think it makes our chemistry just so much better on the field.
Now having game 1 in the bag, OSU looked to pick up their 5th series victory this year with a win in game 2. The Cowboy offense picked up right where it left off, scoring 7 runs by the end of the 4th inning. The early offense set this team up for success as the pitching now had a 7-run cushion. After the Seahawks showed some fight, scoring 3 runs in the 6th, Carson McCusker showed his strength by blasting a 3-run shot to dead center to put UNC Wilmington away and secure a 10-3 victory. With Cade Cabanis and Carson McCusker leading the offense this game, Coach Holliday showed some love for his 2 outfielders.
They're the highest level human being. They're both big and strong. They both do a lot of really good things on the field, and they're true Cowboys. I mean, they're...
Following the doubleheader sweep by the Cowboys on Saturday, OSU had a chance to sweep their 2nd series in the past 3 weeks with a win on Sunday.
The Cowboys started this game with business as usual, tallying 2 runs in the 1st inning with a home run from Christian Encarnacion Strand. Cowboy DH Nolan McLean followed this up with a homer of his own in the 3rd inning to quickly give the Cowboys a 3-0 advantage. The Cowboy offense continued to put up runs with 4 more in the 5th, while Justin Robleski shut down the Seahawks. The Cowboys ended up with 10 runs for the 2nd straight game, giving the Cowboys the series final 10-4. With the Cowboys' recent success, Robleski says the Cowboys have hit their stride.
We hit our speed bump and then we kind of made it over it. So I think we're over that hump, and I think we're, poised to make a really good run to the second half of the season. And, I'm excited to keep going and see where we end up.
The Cowboys look to continue their hot streak this Tuesday when they take on Oral Roberts. First pitch is set for 6 p.m. at O'Brate Stadium. Be sure to come out and support your Cowboys. For the Daily O, I'm Jace Andrews.
Thanks, Jace. Be sure and continue to follow our Cowboys during this long season. The Oklahoma State softball team was also in action over the weekend when they traveled to Lubbock, Texas to play a 3-game series against their Big 12 rivals, the Texas Tech Lady Raiders. Game 1 was a low-scoring pitcher's duel. OSU's Carrie Eberly won her 4th straight start as she also completed her 5th complete game shutout. The only run of the game came when outfielder Cheyenne Factor knocked a pitch over the center field wall in the 7th inning, giving the Cowgirls the 1-0 lead. A lead which would hold on the back of Eberly, and the Cowgirls won 1-0. Game 2, however, was less dramatic, with Cowgirls winning 12-2 via the run rule. They were led by pitcher Kelly Maxwell, who got her 12th victory on the year and a whopping 4 home runs. Game 3, meanwhile, was more of the same, with Eberly taking the mound again and the Cowgirl offense coming on strong. Eberly picked up yet another win, putting her season total to 14. And four more homers, 2 of those coming from infielder Haley Busby. The Cowgirls picked up the 10-3 win, stamping the sweep, moving the Cowgirls' overall record to 32-5. The Cowgirls return to Stillwater this upcoming Friday and play host to the Baylor Lady Bears for a 3-game series. Moving on now to football. Yes, football's return is fast approaching as the Oklahoma State spring game will be held noon on Saturday, April 24th at Boone Pickens Stadium. One player who will not be playing in the game is offensive tackle Tevin Jenkins. Jenkins declared for the NFL draft earlier this year and is deep in the draft process. Our own Gabby Sprang caught up with Tevin as he prepares for the draft to get an insight in his life on and off the field.
Meet Tevin Jenkins, a former offensive lineman at Oklahoma State University and 2-time All-Big 12 honorable mention and future NFL first-round draft pick. But there is far more to Tevin than just blocking opponents on the line.
Complete opposite off the field than how he is portrayed on the field. On the field, I know people say he's really mean, he's nasty, he's a bully, and off the field, he's the most kind-hearted person. He would be the person to like stop what he's doing just because somebody needed help, like whether that's like somebody couldn't reach the top shelf at the grocery store or somebody's pulled off the side of the road. Like he's just that person that always wants to help. Never talks about football or never talks about him, always wants to talk about other people, and very interested in any conversation he's brought into.
Ultimately, just being able to be that kind and trustworthy person. A lot of people have a lot of faith in me to do whatever it may be. As like you go to as little as doing a certain job for them, like a favor or anything like that, and being able to make sure that I'll be able to finish the job.
While Tevin likes to grill on his free time and make burgers and steaks for his family and friends, he also has other things that he's been doing while not training for the NFL draft. I'm going to give this cooking thing a try, and maybe I can go in the first round too.
Only thing I've been doing really is playing video games, grilling, and tending to Sydney. That's the only thing I've been doing, and trying to help her plan for her future, and like seeing all of our friends and going to all the weddings, and hopefully we can be a part of that. I know she will be, but hopefully I can be able to make every one of them.
I can go to him about anything in any mood, no matter how sassy or how grumpy I'm in, and he can just handle me. Like he knows how to handle every situation and loves me, good or bad.
Thanks, Gabby. Be sure and check out the NFL Draft on April 29th through May 1st. Jenkins is projected as first or second round selection. The Masters tournament concluded yesterday in Augusta, Georgia, with a new face picking up the win. Hideki Matsuyama played a phenomenal game throughout the entire weekend and ended the weekend donning the green jacket, the first person from Japan to become the Masters champion.
I can't say if I'm the greatest. However, I'm the first to win a major. And if that's the bar, then I've said it. I can't imagine what it's going to be like. What a thrill and honor it will be for me to take the green jacket back to Japan. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Other notable names include Jordan Spieth having a return to form, finishing tied for third, shooting 7 under par. Oklahoma State's own Victor Hovland shot even, and last year's winner Dustin Johnson was cut after round 2. Lastly, we have a breaking news story for you. This just in. NFL wide receiver Julian Edelman has announced his retirement. The Pro Bowl wide receiver spent his entire 12-year career with the New England Patriots while winning 3 Super Bowl championships, including 1 Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 53 back in 2019, as the Patriots won their 6th Super Bowl championship. That will do it for our show today. Make sure to follow us at @TheDailyO_TV, and you can watch our show on Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Roku, and on Suddenlink Channel 112. We'll see you back here on Friday. For the Daily O, I'm Griff McClellan. Have a great night.
The Daily O is brought to you by Firo, Fire Kissed Pizza.